This is Eric Bischoff. You know, controversy creates cash. You know what else? You're listening to In Your Head.
Another thing that gets mentioned in the book is that Jerry Jarrett was put in place to take over for Vince if he went to jail. A few years ago now, Jerry and Jeff Jarrett set up TNA. Have you heard that Jerry Jarrett recently took a prospective talent to Vince McMahon? Yeah.
I followed the news on the internet, and I'm sure we're both reading the same thing. And I was nothing Jerry Jarrett does surprises me, because if you look back at the history going back to the successful days of that territory, and I mentioned this in the book, Jerry Jarrett was an innovator, and I haven't been in touch with him for several years, but I could see that he would be frustrated if he has had a loss of his power base. It's almost like the same thing that I felt in the closing days of WCW, that I had this wealth of experience, and I realized that change takes place, and you have to find a balance, to be in tune with change, to stay current, to meet the demands of the public. But Jerry Jarrett has a history of doing this, so it's not like he's a dinosaur that was so set in his ways that he couldn't change.
Right. There's a reason why he's still in the business.
There's some frustration level in there that apparently came out with him going up to see Vince.
Yeah. Do you think it would hurt TNA if he does go to WWE?
I think the loss of Jerry Jarrett, whether he sits at home and does other things, will be a terrible loss to TNA.
Right, because the rumours are he pretty much simply works the gorilla position right now.
And that's an important function, but you still need to you have, when you have someone. Jerry Jarrett said one time when he came in through the trail of management at WCW for the 12 years or so that they were in business, every one of them called him, brought him in, and wanted to hire him, and every time that he came in, the story was very similar, where he said, look, the wrestling business is like none other, and you're going to have to be prepared to have somebody rule this with an iron fist like a dictator, and if I'm going to help you and help you be successful, that's what I'm going to have to do. And one after one, every one of the people looked at him like he had to be crazy, that there was no way that they could agree to do something like that, and they tried to come up with another solution. A year later, they get fired, hire someone else. He'd bring in Jerry Jarrett, same story, and this went on for 12 years.
And our caller, I think it's Rick. I think you need to turn on your TV.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You're on the phone with J.J. Dillon?
Yeah, I apologize if this was asked earlier. I just got in. I wanted to know what you thought was the best incarnation of the Four Horsemen. And
yeah, we covered that.
You covered that?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
That's all right.
I think the original were the original, as I said earlier, but I have a real fondness for the group where Barry Windham was there, because I thought the level of talent, man to man to man, was the best that there ever was.
Oh, I do have a second one. Do you foresee any other wrestling promotion having a 6 p.m. Saturday time slot that did as successful as WCW Saturday Night did?
Well, I don't know. I was shocked that Eric Bischoff would allow the quality of that particular show to deteriorate to the point that people making those decisions had no choice but to take the show off the air. And here's a program that ran since the inception of the Superstation, from when it was a dream of Ted Turner's, and anytime that you can pick up something in a consistent time slot. I had people who come up to these reunion shows that tell me that they planned their weekend around being home at 6 o'clock on a Saturday to watch that program. And they would do their shopping and visit people and run errands and attend other functions and keep that opportunity, that window of opportunity open to watch wrestling on Saturday.
Yeah.
You can't buy that kind of loyalty and that kind of consistency.
Right. And I think the modern fans probably would be for Monday nights for them. But,
I'm sorry?
I think, that's how the modern day fans will think of as Monday nights.
Probably so, yes.
It just
that became the traditional wrestling of the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
It just kind of seems
and I have an opinion on that too, and I don't know that a lot of people would agree with me, but everybody keeps talking about the Monday Night Wars being created again and how exciting it would be, and they can't wait for it to happen. Can't believe that someone's not making it happen. But if you really think about it, it creates a no-win situation for, I don't know, for both parties, but if you're trying to establish a separate niche from the World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment, what do you possibly have to gain other than a short-term gain to go head up with him on a Monday night? Because what happens is what happens. You may have a period of success, but then the pendulum will swing, and over time, it's going to swing back the other way. And Vince McMahon was in a better position to fight the battle long term because, as I said in my book, he continued to remain profitable in pay-per-view, even though he was being soundly defeated week in and week out in the ratings.
Right.
But there was no plan on the part of the other people. So there was no upside to
let Rick go.
Into a war like that and forcing the fans to try and make a choice.
Mm-hmm. Right. It just splits the audience.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have some people that are going to channel surf back and back, but I think there are people in upper management that think that somehow you can build up enough momentum and eventually replace Vince McMahon and he's going to go away. And to be honest with you, that's ludicrous. It's never ever going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself into that position, you're just you're almost like constructing and orchestrating your own ultimate demise. And the only thing that's a question is what is the duration of the time frame.
Right. Do you think there's too much emphasis put in, like, to compete with Vince or try to put him out of business? I think guys should just concentrate on putting on a good product.
Absolutely. And I think there was a bitter lesson learned by Eric Bischoff when he told Tony Schiavone to mention, don't tune over this week because it's a pre-recorded show and we already know that Mick Foley won the title or whatever the thing was, and you could track the ratings and to see that there was a wave of people that went over there that didn't come back. And I think it's best to always take care of your own product. Don't worry so much about what the competition is doing. Do you have to have an awareness in terms of your planning as to what your competition is doing? Absolutely. But I think you need to take care of your own product and have your own product be the absolute best that it can be. Then that other situation takes care of itself if you do that.
Right. So I was reading your book, and some of it was crazy. Like they would watch Raw at the same time while Nitro was going on and playing like big angles for when Raw was going to breaks, and it was pretty much just obsessed with WWE.
Yes, absolutely. And there was often no continuity, and again, you had non-wrestling people making critical decisions.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about now seeing Bischoff working for Vince McMahon?
Not surprised. I thought Eric Bischoff certainly had some degree of talent. I thought he was a good announcer.
Yeah.
Certainly his personality and everything about him, he's the ideal prototype of the old school wrestling manager. So anybody, whether he's the evil commissioner or whatever he is, that's an extension of the same role. He's very good at that.
Yeah. Just a natural heel.
Don't give him a checkbook and let him make any decisions.
Right. Do you think they made a mistake bringing him in and right away having him align with Vince? Because it's pretty much, it's built up real heat between the two guys for years during the Monday Night Wars. They should have a feud.
Vince is the type of person that if it was not his original idea, it's not any good, and he never acknowledges that there was any degree of success to it. I've been asking, why the Horsemen would never go there, or why Vince wouldn't pick up on that when he had all the key players at his disposal that he could have maybe had at least even a short-term successful run. But again, Vince didn't want to acknowledge that because it wasn't his idea.
Right.
And the same thing with Bischoff. I think Vince would actually bring him in and align him, Bischoff, with Vince just for the naysayers to say that that's not consistent with the history between the two.
Yeah.